Hi, good morning. We are here from Group C21 to present our findings on the research we did on Spotify's personalization and privacy policy. So Spotify is an audio streaming service that launched in 2006 in Sweden, and today it offers a wide range of music available to all listeners, as well as podcasts, interviews, audiobooks, and other audio features. Today, it is one of the biggest music listening apps in the world. The objective of this study is to see how Spotify users in the UK perceive and manage privacy in the context of personalized music recommendations and social features, as well as what privacy settings they utilize and which they ignore. The recommendations will also suggest how Spotify can align its user experience and personalization algorithms with privacy considerations to build further trust and satisfaction among its user base. Spotify today has an average of about 165 million premium users worldwide. Despite this, recently they also suffered a €5 million loss due to the breach of EU privacy laws. Their revenue per user has also been on a decline since 2015, with seeing an incline for the first time this year. Onwards, we hope that this study will continue Spotify's steady increase of premium users, as well as helping them avoid major privacy breach losses, offering personalization while maintaining trust with their users and improving personalization for their users.
According to statistics, a large proportion of respondents in the UK have expressed negative feelings over their privacy online, such as worry, anger, and nervousness. This has resulted in lots of them taking actions. For instance, 41.3% of respondents decline cookies on websites at least some of the time. Please see the report for full details. Through secondary research, we also found that most people are not fully aware of the use of their data. For example, what type of personal information is being collected from them, health, financial, or personal opinions. On the other hand, other secondary sources revealed a great proportion of respondents were happy to give up some level of privacy in exchange for better service and user experience, with about 30% of respondents either strongly or somewhat agreeing to give away personal information in return for online services. Further questions also explore the different types of private information users are willing to share. Results ended up revealing contradicting results. For example, Kim suggested health-related data was considered to be the least valuable data to individuals, but Statista data suggested otherwise. Made the music application Spotify has had a steady growth of revenue and income over the years. However, Spotify has been the subject of major financial losses due to its failure at following the strict EU privacy laws. Until today, Spotify still didn't have a all-in-one place privacy center or hub in their app, and that is widely accessible to everyone. Their privacy setting and explanations are not explicitly written and were dispersed across different pages and sections, which made it very difficult for users to build a full understanding of their privacy.
To accomplish the objectives, our research firstly employs secondary data we mentioned above to gain initial findings, and then adopts in-depth interviews and observational questions to answer. In terms of qualitative research, this involves in-depth interviews and observation to gather user perspectives. The reason why we choose in-depth interview rather than focus groups and other qualitative methods is because we can understand more deeply about a respondent's perspective towards the privacy issue and social features on Spotify through in-depth interview. Also, adopting in-depth interview can prevent respondents from having bias problems and social pressure. Additionally, when conducting interviews, if a respondent is not aware of personal information used on Spotify, we will guide them to read the Spotify privacy policy and then ask their thoughts on it. Besides in-depth interview, we also conduct observational questions to invite the interviewees to show us how they navigate on Spotify to find privacy settings on mobile phone and share their playlists to others. Therefore, we can observe the navigation process and think how we can provide practical and useful solutions for improvement on the two functions for Spotify. One of the significant challenges encountered during the research was convincing potential participants to take part in the interviews. Given the sensitivity of the topic and concerns about data privacy, some individuals were hesitant to share their experience at first. To address this, the team emphasized the importance of anonymity and data protection in the research process.
Coming to the results of the study, we first found out that Spotify had a difference in their privacy settings when it came to the desktop app version and the mobile app version. So, when we asked the respondents if they use the desktop app, a majority of them mentioned that they do use the desktop app or mobile app, but only few mentioned that they only use the mobile app. And when we asked the desktop app users if they have ever reviewed the privacy policies on the desktop app version, none of them had mentioned so. And when we asked about their usage, about the privacy, I mean, of their, if they've ever reviewed the privacy policy statement as a whole on Spotify, none of them had ever even come across the privacy policy statement or taken any time to review it, which basically poses a concern for Spotify as in terms of their transparency and the way that of the policy statement being more apparent to the users. And some when we wanted to ask them about their concerns when it came to certain privacy data being used on Spotify, most of them had a major concern when it came to their payment data, their voice data, their billing address, phone number, and location data being used. Most of this found this irrelevant when it came to their user experience on Spotify, as it did not cater to any beneficial need whatsoever to them. So many of them had a concern in this regard. When it came to sharing some of their personal data in terms of regarding the user experience, most of them were comfortable in this particular aspect in terms of to if it catered towards their benefit. For example, using their listening patterns to suggest new certain artists in that particular genre, or when it came to the Spotify's annual wrap, they were all ready to share their personal data if it catered to these particular things. So when we asked the question about are the users willing to share their data for the advertising and marketing agencies that Spotify may share their data to, it was more or less a half and half response. Few of our respondents were comfortable if again cater to their personal needs and to their personal recommendations. They were okay with it, while again half of them did not find the need to share their data towards marketing agencies. And when we asked about the social features of Spotify, seven of our respondents were aware of these social features, while only one wasn't aware. So hence, maybe Spotify could work on this aspect of catering the full use of their social features awareness. And also, more or less, the two highlight of the social features were like creating playlists and the collaborative playlist part. Most of them had a positive outlook on these social features, while only few probably had a concern in terms of regarding the commercial aspect of recommendations of certain artists and songs. One of our respondents highlighted this issue where she thought a particular artist was being recommended to her who she had no particular inclination towards too. So hence she thought there might be a commercial aspect towards it.
So, talking about a user story, Ashley talks to her friend about some new makeup products that she's ordered online while they listen to some of her favorite music on her mobile phone on the Spotify standard plan. A while later, she gets an ad from Charlotte Tilbury and feels concerned about the privacy of her voice data and how it might be getting sold to third party advertisers. She immediately tries to change the privacy settings within the mobile app but is unable to find the setting to do so, as she doesn't have the desktop app. Now she thinks twice before talking openly whenever her app is open. Feeling compelled to share her data with Spotify to be a continued user, she eventually starts searching for an alternative. So, what can we do to ensure that Ashley and others like her don't stop using Spotify as a streaming service? It's simple. We align the desktop and mobile app functionalities. Currently, a lot of the privacy controls are only available on the desktop version, which then redirects the user to a Spotify webpage on the browser where they can access the account data and cross application data tracking. By making this streamlined and bringing it to both the mobile and desktop application, we can give the users a more consistent user experience. This can give them access to navigate through the settings through whatever device they're using and improve their trust with the company. Secondly, we would recommend to increase the personalization possibilities, giving users the control over their experience by providing opt out options and to personalize what data they're comfortable sharing with Spotify and what data they would like to keep private would give them an option to personalize their preferences in a way where they feel comfortable. This may also include collecting data from other applications and tracking their data and selling it to third party advertisers. Thirdly, we would like to improve the transparency and convenience. While talking to the respondents, none of them had taken the time and effort to go through the privacy policy, thus pointing to an information gap. Communicating this privacy policy and the terms of use regarding data collection through an easy to understand manner, either through in app prompts or through regular emails, can make sure that the user perceptions regarding transparency of Spotify is improved. Lastly, regarding the social features, we would like to recommend some improvements in the app interface itself. By making small tweaks here and there, we can make sure that the intuitive design is promoted to improve engagement with new social features like the Spotify Jam, which may be lucrative to certain consumers who are not currently aware of it. This increases their visibility to new features and the adoption through a call to action approach through in app prompts. With this, we would like to conclude our presentation and thank you for being a part of this.